There you saw some of the shocking results in the EPL. But let's move on to some other matters now. Nnamdi Obanya joins us now. He's a sports journalist. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me again.
Well, as a matter of fact, I heard people say when they saw the lineup
Yes.
of the Catalonia team and they had their hearts in their hands. I mean, all the time, them out, all the time, at least the first 45 minutes.
Yes.
And so, was that the same for you when you saw the lineup and the way home-based Eagles approached the match?
Well, first and foremost, I wasn't really expecting us to pull any surprises. So I was really expecting the worst. It's not a case of fearing the worst. I was expecting the worst.
Okay.
1998 was 5-0. So I don't know how much we developed since
Wait,
then.
don't tell me you're thinking about 7-0.
No, not 7-0. Not
Oh.
7-0. When you lose that kind of match, you will not go in there gung-ho. You'll be a bit more cautious. So I think I wasn't expecting 5-0, but I wasn't expecting a draw, I'll be honest. But before we all get carried away, I'm beginning to talk about the next USA 94 team. And no,
Already?
No, it's more about how badly Catalonia played than how well Nigeria played. I think that was the difference on the night.
Did they take that match as seriously as they should have, Catalonia?
I don't think it was a case of whether they took it seriously. I think that the new Catalans, unquote, don't share the same ideals. In the first half, you had 9 Barcelona players strutting out. By halftime, they had taken most of them off. Now, the people you see, they talk about representing Barcelona still on the field are the likes of Montoya and Tello, who haven't exactly broken in and become constants in Barcelona's side. You have players from Red Bull Salzburg in Austria, Getafe, Espanyol. So it wasn't that we had the best Spanish players. We just had what is considered the best Catalan team right now, and it's not very good.
Yeah, but I mean, if the Eagles saw the lineup and then they came at you the first 45 minutes, the lineup was mainly the Spanish national team players.
Well,
and then the home-based players from here, they would have just been in awe.
I think what happened was because they were mostly home-based players,
yeah.
It was probably more of a shopping window to them. I think if our professional players had been there, and with the exception of Victor Moses and Mikel, whose clubs are actually holding them down for as long as they can, a friend of mine and I had a discussion last night, and he's of the opinion that some top players chickened out, that they wouldn't want
in that
to.
Same match, huh?
Yeah, that they didn't even want to have anything to do. Of course, it's just theory, but there could be some truth to it. That imagine you're, well, not saying he did, but imagine you're Vicente Yama. You wouldn't want to damage your stock by being in the goalpost against.
Or they thought that it
against
was going to be a
Catalonia.
whitewash.
You'll be afraid of a whitewash, particularly when you look at the starting lineup. I think even the likes of Joseph Yobo didn't want to be given the run around in that match. A number of top players, I'm sure, could have been there, but were deliberately not there.
So what did it do to our confidence?
Well, it does a lot for our confidence, and if those guys did chicken out, it badly backfires, because the impression now is that Nigeria can do without you. That's the impression right now. But I don't want us to get carried away. I want us to understand that in that match, it was more of missed chances. Our defense was cut open, like using a hot knife in soft butter, to use that cliche. Our midfield was almost non-existent. They were stringing passes in double figures, and we were watching. Most of our defense was last-ditch clearance. We had 2 or 3 balls cleared off the line. We had so many last-ditch clearances in the defense. Kudos to Agbem in the goalpost. It was fantastic. Most people might not agree with me.
Yeah, because sometimes his movement, his ball judgment, his analysis of...
Yeah, the word out is he was too quick off his line. I beg to differ. I think it shows confidence when, regardless of whether or not you might get dribbled, you're the last man, you do your job. It's up to your defenders to continue the run behind you and see if they can clear the ball off the line, which happened on a number of occasions. The keeper came out, he was beaten, but the defender had continued the run, and that smothered the option out of it. I think it was very impressive. I like the way he covered his near post a lot of time and intercepted low crosses, which is what the Catalans were using mostly, because they're not exactly the tallest. But I fear that if we meet the likes of Cote d'Ivoire, it might be a bit foolhardy to implement that same thing. Yes, they were big, they were strong, but they were very disoriented. Our defense looked totally out of it. Solomon Kwambi, I was going to talk about him in particular. After the Venezuela game, we thought we have found a fullback Nigeria can trust. Unfortunately,
he didn't fit in.
He had a very terrible game. When Kenneth Omeruo came on,
yeah,
it was more stable. He was able to control that side. On the other side of defense, Benjamin Francis, I would say that I think most of the chances I saw came from our left side. It seemed so porous. And that now brings back the argument for Taiwo. He might not be the quickest, he might not be the most intelligent, but he's probably the most experienced left back you have.
And you need experience?
Right now.
No, but what happens to you building a fresh, I mean, yeah, not necessarily fresh, but building a team? Because you can't keep calling on these chaps who've been there before to keep coming back.
The problem is that the process of building involves handing over from one generation to the next. You ease in new players, they play with the old players, they become your backbone, you ease in more new players. How quickly you do it is up to you. But to take a team, remove them totally, and bring in a whole new set, make a drastic change, I think that's a bit radical.